Hey guys, welcome to Beer Biceps again, and today we are going to be making a version of one of my absolute favorite junk foods, Pav Bhaji. Now, Pav Bhaji by itself is very unhealthy. You're just having bread with potatoes, so it's carbs on carbs. So it's not giving you any nutrition. So today I'm not going to be teaching you guys how to make a Pav Bhaji by itself. I'm going to tell you guys how to make a healthier version of a Pav Bhaji. I'm going to teach you guys how to make that simple Pav Bhaji more nutritious by adding 4 eggs into it. I'm not going to just scramble the eggs into it, but we're going to be making something called a shakshuka. A shakshuka is a North African egg dish where eggs are poached in a gravy of tomatoes. So we're in Bombay and our gravy of tomatoes is Pav Bhaji. So essentially we are going to be making eggs poached in Pav Bhaji. This will work as an awesome post-workout because you're getting carbs from the Pav Bhaji and the protein from the eggs. So let's go guys. First, let's go over everything you need to make this special Indian shakshuka. Pav Bhaji, obviously. I'm not going to go over the basics of making a Pav Bhaji. I've just ordered this in from outside. Remember, this is just a method to make this delicious cheese Pav Bhaji a healthier version of itself. So just order in from somewhere. Next, you need the pav, my favorite part of a Pav Bhaji. We're gonna make this a high protein pav. Next, we need the onions. Onions will form the base of our shakshuka. So just use the same onions that you get when you order Pav Bhaji. Coming to the most important part, the eggs. So I'm gonna use 4 eggs here. 4 eggs equal 25 grams of healthy protein to be utilized by your body. So to make the base of the shakshuka, we'll stir fry the onions in very little oil. Stir fry them till their smell goes away. Now, it's essential to use very little oil if you want a healthy Pav Bhaji. This beautiful cheese Pav Bhaji has got a very high fat content, and we're trying to make this Pav Bhaji as healthy as possible. Now, just keep stirring the mixture until it's relatively homogeneous. So, essentially, a shakshuka is poached eggs in a tomato-based gravy. So, we've got a tomato-based gravy in our simple Pav Bhaji. All you have to do now is make slight dents in the Pav Bhaji. So with your spoon, just make these little holes or craters or whatever you want to call them. This is where we'll be breaking each egg individually. From a health perspective, this is what's great about this particular dish. So generally, if you want to have like 3 or 4 eggs together, you'd make them in an omelette or a bhurji. Now to make that omelette or bhurji, you need to add a lot of oil. So in my day, generally my highest calorie meal is the one I get from my 3 or 4 eggs. So essentially what you're doing is that you're substituting all that oil from the omelette or bhurji with the Pav Bhaji. Now obviously the calories you're getting from this Pav Bhaji are way higher than your omelette or bhurji. But then again, I mean, it's a very tasty alternative to a simple omelette or bhurji. So this is especially useful for someone who's trying to put on weight. But coming back to the recipe, so all you have to do is basically break those eggs very carefully into those 3 dents you've made. Ideally, try not to break the yolks. After you're done placing the yolks in the holes, just let the Pav Bhaji simmer on a really low flame with a lid on top. This will allow the eggs to cook from the steam coming out of the Pav Bhaji, so you'll have Pav Bhaji flavored eggs. After about 2 or 3 minutes on a low flame, you lift the lid off. Now, many people really like this really soft version of a Pav Bhaji Shakshuka when the eggs aren't cooked all the way through. So it's completely up to you whether you want to cook the eggs really well or you want to leave them this soft. At this point, I generally season my eggs and Pav Bhaji with red chili and a bit of salt. Once you're done seasoning it, you can garnish it with some fresh coriander. And finally, if you're one of those weirdos who likes their eggs cooked all the way through like I do, you can cover it again and cook it on a low flame for 2 minutes. Now that the bhaji is ready, let's come to the pav part of the Pav Bhaji. So first you amp up your gas to a really high flame. Now I generally use a cast iron skillet to make these pavs, but you can use a non-stick pan as well. So you take the pavs that you've got with your Pav Bhaji and just place them on the skillet first to just crisp up the outside. Another tip to make this dish healthier overall is to ask your Pav Bhaji wala to not butter the bread. I mean, it doesn't really taste all that bad if there isn't that much butter. Next, you grab your 4th egg and make an egg wash out of that. So to make an egg wash, you just break the egg open, add a little salt and whisk it up with a fork. So to go with the shakshuka, we're going to be making Irani pav, which is something I picked up from the bhurji walas of Bombay. So all you do is you pour the egg wash in the insides of the pav first and then in the outsides. Once the egg wash has coated most of the pav, you just flip it over to the other side. So some people like to cook it from the inside. So for that, you have to open the pav up completely. But if you don't mind a slightly wet eggy pav, then I'd recommend you guys doing what I'm doing here. Pour the remaining egg wash on the other side of the pav and just wait for it to cook on the really hot skillet. Towards the end, all you do is you split the pav in half. So generally, we always order 2 pavs with pav bhaji and 2 pavs extra. So you split it halfway through and just flip it on the other side. This will cook out the runniness of the eggs and it'll give you a nice crispy pav. Do the exact same thing with the other pav. Just flip it and leave it on there for about 10 seconds or so. And that's it. You've got 2 beautiful Irani pavs to go with your delicious Pav Bhaaji Shakshuka. So you can serve this high protein gorgeousness of pavs that you've cooked up with your high protein Pav Bhaaji Shakshuka at the table directly in the pan. Shakshukas are best enjoyed when you scoop them directly out of the pan and directly onto a plate. Leave the pavs on the side in a separate plate. So there you have it, guys. A nutritious high protein version of your regular Pav Bhaji. Hey guys, that was my video for a healthy Pav Bhaji Shakshuka. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Go follow my personal fitness journey on Instagram at beerbiceps and on Twitter at beerbiceps93. Go like my Facebook page as well. So until next time guys, from Gigi and me, see you. Say bye. Say bye. Bye, 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 bye.